Who will stand beside the Lord? Come join me. This marks a significant moment. For the first time in over 60 years, fragments of an ancient holy text have been discovered. The tale of Adam and Eve runs deep through many cultures. The Garden of Eden story remains perhaps the most captivating. An old legend preserved in the Sefer Temuna offers us a unique perspective. For thousands of years, the story of Adam and Eve, with the forbidden fruit, the serpent's deception, and their expulsion from paradise, has remained powerful in our collective memory. All people descend from that first man, Adam. Could there be more to this tale? For years, scholars have searched for this mysterious manuscript. Now, archaeologists claim they have found it. The books of Adam and Eve were found in Tutankhamun's tomb and published in 1926. This represents one of the oldest surviving texts. It originates from Egypt during Christianity's earliest days and is going up for auction. This manuscript tells of Adam and Eve's experiences after being cast out of Eden. While experts debate authenticity and dating, the books reveal ancient beliefs. The Greek title is the Apocalypse of Moses. Paul likely knew this text, as referenced in 2 Corinthians. First presented as Moses' vision, the Latin version begins with English translation. Most scholars believe it was composed in the 1st century CE in a Middle Eastern language. Who will stand beside the Lord? Come join me. The story was likely shared orally for generations before being written. The earliest Latin copies date from the 9th, 10th, and 12th centuries. This work's history remains unclear because it was long considered false. Religious writing wrongly attributed to famous figures. The book was excluded from the official Bible due to controversy. Though some consider it fake, the work provides valuable insights into early biblical events. This text is essentially oral tradition passed down through generations, linking humanity's creation with its recording. All people descend from Adam. The story is just beginning. The book of Adam and Eve documents what occurred after their expulsion from Eden. It's also known as the contradiction of Adam and Eve, or the conflict with Satan. According to the narrative, Satan told them, "The fruit is actually good for you, but God doesn't want you to eat it." Satan attempted persuasion, saying, "God cannot be trusted." An unknown Egyptian author likely first crafted this story in Arabic, later translated into Ethiopian. Many scholars think it was created decades before Jesus' birth. The book was first published in English during the 1800s. The text has two parts. Book 1 describes Adam and Eve's journey after leaving Eden, including Satan's temptations. It reveals that Cain and Abel had twin sisters. Cain murdered Abel from jealousy. He loved his twin sister Lulua, but his parents wanted him to marry Aklima, Abel's twin. The second book focuses on patriarchs' history before the Great Flood. It tells of Seth's children who lived on Mount Hermon, until Janaan and Cain's daughters persuaded them to leave. As fallen angels, they lost God's blessing. The story describes how blind Lamech killed Cain and tells of other patriarchs leading to Noah's birth. In the first book, the cursed serpent attempts to harm Adam and Eve, but God intervenes, making the snake mute and banishing it to India. Satan repeatedly tries to deceive and kill them. In one instance, he hurls a massive rock to crush them, but God rescues them, comparing this to Christ's future resurrection. God also predicts important biblical events, including Noah's flood. Book 1 focuses on Adam's sorrow and helplessness after departing Eden. When God expelled them from the garden, he carefully avoided placing them at the northern boundary, so they wouldn't bathe in those waters and forget their sin. He avoided the southern side where wind might carry the garden's sweet fragrance. Instead, God directed Adam to the western border, where land was vast and open. They were instructed to live in the cave of treasures beneath the garden. When they left, they walked on unfamiliar ground, not knowing their location. Seeing the enormous earth covered with stones and sand, they became terrified and collapsed. Feeling as though they had died, having come from a beautiful garden, they were now in a strange land. Seeing their suffering, God felt compassion. When he saw them fall at the gate, he sent his word to lift them up. Adam and Eve wept as they looked at their changed bodies and felt remorse. They walked to the cave of treasures. As they approached, Adam said sorrowfully, "This cave is so cramped and dark, with all these rocks around us." He mourned the cave's smallness and darkness. Nothing could match the garden's light and beauty. Adam didn't want to enter but accepted God's command, knowing he would sin again if he disobeyed. On the 43rd day, they emerged weak and hungry from fasting and praying about their sin. They climbed the western mountain to seek God's forgiveness. In their grief, they prayed for mercy. But something unexpected occurred. God looked at Adam's mourning and spoke, "Adam, when you were in the garden, you knew no hunger or suffering. You had no weakness or sleeplessness. But now, in this foreign land, you face new challenges." Then God commanded the cherub to take fruit from the fig tree and give it to Adam. The cherub brought 2 figs on branches, throwing them from a distance, as their bodies couldn't approach the fire. Previously, angels had feared Adam, but now he feared them. They took the figs and recognized them from trees where they had hidden. They wept bitterly, realizing the fruit's significance. Meanwhile, Satan and 10 followers transformed into beautiful young women. These women emerged from the river, amazed at Adam and Eve's appearance. They wondered aloud, "Is there another world below filled with such lovely beings?" The women told them, "We are abundant creations, growing through marriage and bearing children." When Adam asked about their multiplication, they explained, "We have husbands who father children. These children mature, marry, and have their own children." The women called their families to join them by the river. Seeing this, Adam and Eve were amazed. The women encouraged them, "Follow our example and marry. You too can have children." This was Satan's trick to mislead Adam. His plan exploited Adam's earlier disobedience, thinking that since Adam had eaten forbidden fruit without dying, God's commands could be ignored. He decreed death, plagues, and trials until Adam would leave his body. If Adam could be tricked into taking Eve without God's clear command, God would destroy him. The desire to sin seized Adam. He considered giving in but restrained himself, fearing disobedience would cause death. In anxiety, they turned to God in prayer while Satan's followers returned to the river. They went back to the cave of treasures praying all night. Adam, standing in prayer, wasn't sure how to pray as his heart was troubled by thoughts of marrying Eve. He remained like this until morning. God was pleased with Adam's honesty, recognizing his heart's prayer. God's word came to Adam, "If only you had shown this care from the beginning, before leaving the garden." Soon after, God sent angels who had brought gold, incense, and myrrh, telling him his respect for marriage's holiness was noticed. The angels told Adam, "Take the gold and give it to Eve as a wedding gift. Present her with incense and myrrh, binding her to you in marriage." Adam listened, placed gold in Eve's clothing, and promised to marry her. The angels then told them both, "Fast and pray for 40 days. After that time, Adam, unite with your wife, and your union will be pure, ensuring children who will multiply and fill the earth." They accepted the guidance, and after 40 days of fasting and prayer, they came together as directed. From Adam's departure from the garden until his marriage to Eve, 223 days passed. Satan's attempt to mislead Adam had failed. But the story continued. Sorry for the interruption. Before we continue with the story, I kindly ask you to like the video and subscribe to this channel. It is very important for us. Thank you very much. When time came for Eve to give birth, she suffered greatly. Adam, heartbroken, prayed for her relief, fearing for her life. Please help my wife in her pain. God saw Eve's distress and helped her. She gave birth to a son and daughter. After Seth was born, Adam lived another 800 years, having many children. Adam was happy about Eve's recovery and their children. He cared for Eve 8 days after birth. They named the son Cain, meaning hater, because of hatred he showed his sister in the womb. The daughter was Lulua, meaning beautiful, as she was more beautiful than her mother. After 40 days nursing, Adam made an offering for their children. Eve agreed, making offerings for Cain first, then Lulua after 80 days. Soon Eve became pregnant again, giving birth to another son and daughter. The son was Abel, the daughter Aklimah. Like before, Adam made offerings for Abel after 40 days and Aklimah after 80. The children grew stronger, though Cain became hard-hearted and domineering toward Abel. Abel was gentle and obeyed his parents. In the second book, the sons of God in Genesis 6:2 are Seth's descendants, while daughters of men are from Cain. Under Genon's influence, the Canaanites convinced Sethites to abandon their holy mountain for the valley. Genon, credited with creating musical instruments usually attributed to Jubal, also made weapons of war, typically credited to Tubal-Cain. Cain, the first murderer, spoke to his brother Abel. In the field, Cain attacked and killed him. The Canaanites, Cain's descendants, became known for terrible wickedness, committing murder and incest. After corrupting the Sethites, their children became the Nephilim, mighty men described in Genesis 6. These beings were destroyed in the flood, as told in the book of Enoch and Jubilees. Creation stories from the Bible have long fascinated people, providing explanations for our existence. In Jewish Christian tradition, 2 major accounts stand out: Genesis and the book of Adam and Eve. While both share themes of divine creation and humanity's role, they present different views of God, humanity, and good versus evil. Genesis, traditionally attributed to Moses, was probably assembled from various oral traditions over time, making authorship complex. Genesis is central to Judaism and Christianity, viewed as divinely inspired. In contrast, the book of Adam and Eve is extra-canonical, excluded from official scripture. Several versions exist, generally dated to the 1st century AD. Though not official, it has influenced certain Christian interpretations. One key difference is how they portray creation. Genesis provides a majestic, orderly account where God speaks creation into existence over 6 days, emphasizing divine authority. Humanity is created in God's image on the 6th day. Genesis 2 gives more details about humanity's formation, with God forming Adam from dust and placing him in Eden, then creating Eve from Adam's rib. This highlights a personal approach, emphasizing humanity's connection with nature. The book of Adam and Eve details Adam's creation more extensively, describing God breathing life into clay. It offers an expanded Eden view, showing paradise existing complete before humanity arrived. Both emphasize humanity's special status. In Genesis, humans are made in God's image, suggesting unique capacity for reasoning and morality. However, Genesis doesn't assign specific gender roles. The book of Adam and Eve gives distinct roles. Adam is active and strong, responsible for the garden, while Eve is more passive and curious. This has influenced some Christian traditions' interpretation of gender relationships. The fall concept appears in both stories. In Genesis, the serpent tempts Eve to eat from the knowledge tree. She shares the fruit with Adam, leading to their expulsion. Though the serpent isn't directly identified as Satan, its role is clear. Humanity loses innocence and immortality, burdened with death and suffering. The Book of Adam and Eve provides more detailed fall accounts. The serpent speaks directly to Eve, appealing to her desire for knowledge and equality with God. This story emphasizes Eve's involvement in sin, showing her as first to succumb. It also introduces shame and the need for clothing after the fall. Both texts warn about disobedience consequences and human nature's complexity. Genesis highlights God's power and order, showing humanity's unique but sin-damaged place in creation. The Book of Adam and Eve explores psychological reasons behind transgression, focusing on shame and suffering introduction. Some interpretations emphasize women's responsibility for sin while supporting male dominance. These account differences have sparked religious debates for centuries. Some view them as complementary perspectives on the same event, others as contradictory, raising accuracy and interpretation questions. Regardless, these contrasting creation stories have profoundly influenced cultural and religious views, shaping our understanding of human nature, morality, and our relationship with God. Did you enjoy this story? What do you think the story of Adam and Eve truly teaches us about human nature? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked the story, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Even when we fall, we can rise again through honesty, faith, and love. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.